Selena Gomez was heartbroken. The pain was evident in her eyes, a reflection of the deep sorrow she felt. Tears streamed down her face, her voice trembled as she tried to articulate her feelings. In a raw, emotional video posted to her Instagram, the singer and actress poured out her anguish over the plight of immigrant families facing deportation. Her words were a cry for help, a plea for justice. Gomez's tears were not for herself. They were for the countless individuals and families torn apart by the Trump administration's aggressive deportation policies. She felt their pain deeply, as if it were her own. Gomez's message was simple, direct, and filled with despair. She spoke from the heart, her voice breaking with emotion. "All my people are getting attacked," she cried. "The children." She expressed her frustration at the situation, at her own perceived powerlessness, saying, "I don't understand, I'm so sorry, I wish I could do something but I can't. I don't know what to do," she admitted, her voice filled with desperation. "I'll try everything, I promise," she vowed, her determination shining through her tears. Her words resonated with millions of her followers. They felt her pain, they shared her anger, they stood in solidarity with her. But not everyone was moved by Gomez's heartfelt plea. The internet can be a harsh place. Her vulnerability, her willingness to speak truth to power, was met with a wave of negativity. Critics were quick to pounce. Some accused her of grandstanding, questioning her motives and sincerity. Others told her to stick to singing, dismissing her concerns as irrelevant. The backlash was swift and brutal. Yet amidst the criticism, her message continued to echo, a testament to her courage and compassion. The response to Gomez's emotional plea was a stark reminder of the polarized climate surrounding immigration in the United States. While many praised her for using her platform to raise awareness, others met her with hostility and indifference. Hateful comments flooded her social media, criticizing her stance and demanding she stay silent. The negativity took its toll. Gomez, visibly shaken by the backlash, ultimately decided to delete the video from her Instagram. It was a difficult choice, but one that highlighted the immense pressure placed upon public figures who dare to speak out against injustice. However, Gomez did not back down entirely. In a subsequent post, she addressed the criticism head-on. "Apparently it's not okay to show empathy for people," she wrote, her words tinged with disappointment and frustration. Her message was clear. Empathy, it seemed, was a dangerous thing in a world that preferred silence to uncomfortable truths. The Trump administration's stance on immigration was clear from the start, a hardline approach emphasizing border security and aggressive deportation measures. Upon entering his second term, President Trump doubled down on these promises, making good on his campaign rhetoric. Deportations surged, tearing families apart and leaving communities living in fear. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt applauded the administration's efforts, calling it a fulfillment of their commitment to upholding immigration laws. However, critics argued that the human cost of these policies was too high. They pointed to the stories of families separated at the border, of children held in detention centers, of individuals deported to dangerous and unfamiliar countries. The Trump administration's immigration policies extended beyond increased deportations. They implemented a series of controversial measures aimed at restricting legal immigration pathways and making it more difficult for asylum seekers to find refuge in the United States. One of the most controversial moves by the Trump administration was the asylum agreement with El Salvador. This agreement was part of a series of measures aimed at curbing the influx of migrants from Central America, a region plagued by violence and economic instability. This agreement, touted by the administration as a way to stem the flow of migrants from Central America, allowed the United States to send asylum seekers to El Salvador, even if they weren't from there. The policy was seen as a deterrent, aiming to discourage people from making the perilous journey to the U.S. border. Human rights groups condemned the agreement, arguing that it put vulnerable individuals at risk. They pointed out that El Salvador was already struggling with its own issues and was ill-equipped to handle an influx of asylum seekers. El Salvador, plagued by violence and poverty, lacked the resources to provide adequate protection for asylum seekers. The country has one of the highest murder rates in the world, and many areas are controlled by violent gangs. Critics argued that the agreement was a way for the United States to shirk its responsibility to provide refuge to those fleeing persecution. They claimed it was an abdication of moral and legal obligations under international law. The agreement was part of a broader strategy by the Trump administration to limit access to asylum in the United States. This strategy included various other measures aimed at making it more difficult for migrants to seek refuge. Other measures included requiring asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their cases were processed, a policy known as Remain in Mexico, and making it more difficult for victims of gang violence and domestic abuse to qualify for asylum. These policies have been widely criticized for putting already vulnerable people in even more precarious situations. Section 5. Selena Gomez. A history of using her voice for the voiceless. Selena Gomez's tearful plea for empathy was not an isolated incident. Throughout her career, she has consistently used her platform to advocate for marginalized communities. Her advocacy for immigrant rights in particular has been unwavering. Gomez understands the power of her voice. She recognizes her responsibility to speak out against injustice, to amplify the voices of those who are silenced. Her commitment to using her platform for good has made her a powerful ally in the fight for immigrant rights. Gomez's advocacy extends beyond social media posts and public statements. She has actively engaged with organizations working on the front lines of the immigration crisis, lending her time, resources, and influence to support their efforts. Section 6. Living Undocumented, Illuminating the Human Cost of Deportation. In 2019, Gomez took her advocacy to the next level by executive producing the Netflix docu-series Living Undocumented. The series offered a raw and intimate look at the lives of 8 undocumented families living in the United States under the constant threat of deportation. Through their stories, viewers witnessed the human cost of the Trump administration's immigration policies. They saw the fear, the uncertainty, and the heartbreak that came with living in the shadows. Living Undocumented was a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Gomez's involvement in the project went beyond her role as executive producer. She used her platform to promote the series, encouraging her followers to watch and engage with the stories being told. Section 7. A personal connection: Gomez's Mexican-American heritage. Selena Gomez's passion for immigrant rights stems from a deeply personal place. As a Mexican-American woman, she understands the struggles faced by immigrant communities. Her own family history is intertwined with the immigrant experience. In a moving op-ed for Time magazine, Gomez shared the story of her aunt, who crossed the border from Mexico to the United States, hidden in the back of a truck in the early 1990s. Her aunt's perilous journey was a stark reminder of the risks many are willing to take in search of a better life. Gomez's personal connection to the issue adds a powerful layer of authenticity to her advocacy. She speaks not just as a celebrity, but as a member of a community directly impacted by the policies she's fighting against. Section 8. Fear and Silence. When speaking up feels impossible. In her Time op-ed, Gomez acknowledged the fear that prevents many from speaking out against injustices faced by immigrant communities. "I'm concerned about the way people are being treated in my country," she wrote. "As a Mexican-American woman, I feel a responsibility to use my platform to be a voice for people who are too afraid to speak." Gomez understands that for many immigrants, particularly those who are undocumented, speaking out can have dire consequences. They risk not only their own safety but also the safety of their loved ones. The fear of deportation, of family separation, silences many who desperately need their voices to be heard. Gomez's willingness to speak out, despite the backlash, is a powerful act of defiance. She refuses to be silenced, and in doing so, she creates space for others to find their voices. Section 9. Amplifying the Voices of the Vulnerable, the Power of Influence. Selena Gomez's activism serves as a reminder that we all have a role to play in the fight for social justice. Her dedication to various causes, from mental health awareness to immigration reform, showcases the breadth of her commitment. We can use our voices, our platforms, and our resources to amplify the voices of the vulnerable, to challenge injustice, and to stand in solidarity with those who are marginalized. Together, we can create a more just and equitable world, where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Gomez's influence extends far beyond the world of entertainment. Her actions have inspired countless individuals to take a stand and make a difference in their own communities. She has become a cultural icon, a symbol of resilience and compassion, and a role model for young people around the world. Her journey from a child star to a powerful advocate is a testament to her strength and determination. Her willingness to use her platform to advocate for social justice sets an example for her fans and encourages them to use their own voices for good. Her peers in the entertainment industry also look up to her as a leader and a changemaker. Selena Gomez's tearful plea on Instagram was a raw and powerful expression of empathy and outrage. It resonated deeply with her audience and brought attention to critical issues. It was a reminder that behind the headlines and policy debates are real people whose lives are being torn apart. Her emotional appeal highlighted the human side of these issues. Her activism is a beacon of hope, a light in the darkness, and a testament to the power of using one's voice to fight for a better world. By following her example, we can all contribute to positive change and make a lasting impact.